Hey, what's up to everybody? Hope you're having a nice New Year's Eve. Hopefully you didn't bet Alabama. Although it does look like they're getting their shit together a little bit now. They scored 16-7. They've got the ball. I doubt they're able to get any more points before. There goes Milrow. That's a big play. Wow, that's a big play.
Roll Tide.
All right, so maybe Alabama is able to get some points before half here because Milrow just had like a 40-yard run. So yeah, I good thing I didn't bet that Michigan team total under because it's busted already. I did jump on Alabama live at -7.5. That was like 10 Michigan points ago. So I mean, not that that isn't dead. Not that that's dead or anything. I could still hit, but yeah. So the weird start to the day. As far as yesterday, I won both of my football bet. Oh, I'm sorry. The two picks I gave it on YouTube won. I personally put a bet on Iowa plus 2.5 that lost. But the Lions team total over won. In NBA, my picks on the website went 1-1. I also was conned into betting the Warriors money line by AC Locks in the Discord. Conned me into it. He gave me like the peer pressure shit. Was like, bro, we got to do it. Like, I don't know. I decided to bet it with him. Never again. AC Locks in the Discord. Just if you see him like trying to gas up a bet, just don't give in. All right. So we got West.
Everything made sense this morning because he's mad about Virginia. Maybe he's just the mush.
He might be the mush, dude. But yeah, by the way, Virginia's now at 3.
Yeah, I already know.
All right. Someone said that parlay hit. Oh, did the community parlay hit yesterday? Touchdown, Alabama. Never mind. No, he got tackled at the 6. They don't have timeouts, though.
Oh, no.
All right, I'm not going to just commentate the game. Toast, go ahead. College. The reason we're doing college basketball first is these games. Some of these games start in 26 minutes. So the NBA we have another hour. So Chris will be on to do NBA in 26 minutes.
So this first game, West Virginia, Kansas. I actually would lean West Virginia. I ended up not betting it just because Kansas at home is kind of like a different animal, especially under Bill Self. But I just think that people have this idea that Kansas is one of the best teams in the country, and I'm just not sure if I agree with that. I will continue to say that Dickinson, Harris, and KJ Adams are probably like the best 1-2-3 punch you have in the nation, but at the same time, everything else, the surrounding pieces, I'm just really not in love with. Not to mention the fact that this West Virginia team is pretty damn solid. I mean, it's really hard to get them out of what they do. I mean, they're going to try to slow the game down and play through their defense. They're one of the best defensive teams in the country. And like I said, I'm just not in a spot where I could be laying 14 points or whatever it is with this Kansas team that I understand they looked really good against Brown, but against NC State, they same type of situation where they're at home against a weaker competition team. They only won that game by 15 points. And I think that West Virginia is head and shoulders better than that NC State team for sure. And we've also seen that Kansas, every time that they've stepped up in competition, not that they're losing games, but they're not dominant. They're not winning dominant games. Creighton and Missouri are another ones that both of those games obviously on the road, but they didn't look great in those games. So I'm just not in a position where I feel like Kansas is playing the basketball that they should be playing to be laying 14 points, even though they are at home. And we've seen this West Virginia team play some pretty decent competition. Obviously, they got blown up by Pittsburgh to start the year, but then they go on the road, they beat Gonzaga. They go on the road, these three are neutrals, but against Louisville, they lose that game in overtime. Then they beat Arizona. They beat a Georgetown team. And I know that there's this idea that Georgetown's not a good basketball team, but they're starting to win games. And I won a lot of bets on this Georgetown team. So I actually put that as a positive thing for West Virginia to beat that Georgetown team. Now, the one thing about this West Virginia team, the reason that I didn't bet it is because this is going to be their second true road game. Their first true road game was that Pittsburgh game. So I do want to see how they react to the games on the road. But again, you have a West Virginia team that's going to slow this game down, that's going to play through their defense, they're going to hit their free throws. West Virginia is one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country. Kansas, not a bad free throw shooting team, but not in the upper echelon of free throw shooting teams in the country either. And I also think that West Virginia can match up with them in the size. I mean, I do really like Javon Small, or however you say his name. That kid, he came over from East Carolina. I think he played at Oklahoma or Oklahoma State last year, but he's a pretty decent point guard. Obviously, they still have Tucker DeVries with his dad and all that stuff. So coming over from Drake. So I just felt that 13.5 was too much. Like I said, the only reason I didn't bet West Virginia is because it's only their second true road game, and it is Kansas So it's definitely, there's no way I get to Kansas. It's definitely West Virginia plus 13.5 or pass.
Next. What is next?
Oh my God.
UCF, Texas Tech.
I want to bet Texas or UCF so bad in this game. I don't understand this. I think the line is quite telling. I think this is at 1.5 right now. Let me double check now because I don't want to be talking out of my ass. But I'm almost positive. Go go Virginia. By the way, let's freaking go, boys. All gas, no brakes. Sorry, it's 13.5. Jesus Christ, I'm off. I really want to take UCF here. I don't think that Texas Tech is that good of a basketball team. This is a same type of handicap as we were talking about the last game. You have a Texas Tech team that is laying 14 points in their first home game at home, but they've played absolutely nobody. 315 strength of schedule in the country. The couple of times that they've faced teams with, I like to say, a pulse, St. Joseph's and Texas A&M. They lost the St. Joseph's game by 1. They lost the Texas A&M game by 5. But besides that, they are playing absolutely nobody. The other two teams that they've played that are, like, I guess you could say somewhat even decent, and I don't think they're decent, I'm just trying to be nice, is Syracuse and DePaul. In the Syracuse game, they won that game by 5. That could have easily went the other way. And then they beat DePaul by a decent margin at home. But this UCF team is big. They know how to play through their defense. I mean, they're one of the best defensive teams in the country. They're one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country. They can also shoot the 3-ball very well. That's something that Texas Tech has done a very good job of defending over the course of this year so far. And the height, I think I said that earlier, but the height advantage for UCF is really, really big in this game. So it's definitely UCF. I think I'm going to actually add UCF to my card. I had them circled last night. I kind of wanted to see what the number was going to be, and this number is really not moving off of 13.5. And I have a hard time believing there's a whole bunch of people betting UCF. So, like I said, I think that UCF is going to try to get up and down a little bit. They should be able to get some easy buckets in transition, and I do think that they can defend Texas Tech with their height. So, Darion Williams and that Chase McMillan kid for Texas Tech, both those kids are pretty decent, but at the same time, I just don't trust. I don't trust this team, and I don't trust Grant McCaslin coach teams to lay big numbers, especially in the first game of the conference play. And that's another thing that's kind of big in these games that you have to take into consideration is that now these games actually mean something. These are conference games now, so I don't know if you see teams playing as loose and as free as you did against like when Texas Tech played Lamar or Oral Roberts or something like that. Things seem to get a little bit tighter in conference play. So it's just unless there's a huge advantage in multiple facets of the game, it's just really hard for me to lay 14 points with this Texas Tech team. So I bet I haven't bet UCF yet. I know the game starts in about 20 minutes, so I'm probably going to throw a half unit on UCF just for fun.
All right, next game. Utah Baylor 11.5, another big spread here.
Yeah, this is another one where I don't really know if I can trust this Utah team. It would be Baylor or pass for me. Look, I love betting on teams like Utah and Colorado. Last night came through for us. I ended up kind of getting hooked. Some people got hooked with Colorado on that line, but I trust teams like Utah, Colorado, stuff like that when they play at home. But when they go on the road, it's a completely different story. And this Utah team, by the way, it's Baylor for me. This Utah team not only has not played a road game this year, they've played absolutely nobody. 363rd strength of schedule. They're playing teams like Alcorn State, Central Arkansas, Queen, Utah Tech, Mississippi Valley State, Eastern Washington, Radford. The three teams that they've played that have a pulse, as I like to say, Iowa, they lost by 7. St. Mary's, they lost by 8. Or something like that. And not to mention, St. Mary's is absolutely terrible right now. And that's not the Gonzaga person in me. That's just me saying that St. Mary's has lost to Boise State, Arizona State, Utah State. They barely won against Pacific. They barely won against Merrimack. They barely won against UTSA. That game went to overtime. Like that St. Mary's loss doesn't even look good, because usually when you see St. Mary's or Gonzaga, those are the teams that they actually are decent losses if you lose to them. It's not like that this year. St. Mary's is down, and obviously Gonzaga is down this year as well. And then you have this Baylor team that has just essentially played one of the toughest schedules in the country. I mean, Gonzaga, Arkansas, St. John's, Tennessee, UConn. They've had a couple stinkers as far as The Gonzaga game, they got absolutely throttled. The Tennessee game, they got absolutely throttled. But losing to losing to UConn by 4 on the road against a UConn team that was absolutely pissed off, and a game that, again, Baylor could have won that game. And I'm almost positive in that game Baylor didn't have Jeremy Roach for a long time. They didn't have the young kid. I can't think of his name right now. Edgecombe. I don't think they had him either. So they were playing with a half a deck against that UConn team, and they played really well. Now they're at home against a Utah team that, like I said, has played absolutely nobody. That shouldn't match up very well. Utah likes to get out and run. They're a very fast-paced team that can't shoot free throws. They live and die by that transition, those easy buckets. They're not going to get that with that Baylor. Baylor's going to slow this game down to a crawl. Baylor's one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. Baylor doesn't turn the ball over at all. They turn you over a lot. I think this is a terrible, terrible spot for this Utah team. So I think Baylor wins this game comfortably by 15 plus.
Baylor wins this. Baylor wins this game comfortably, he says. What's next? Arizona State, BYU. Plus 9.5.
Yeah. I don't really know what to think of this Arizona State team. I think they're good. I'm not positive, but I do think that they're good. They've played a very good schedule, a top 50 schedule. I think it's 40, let me find my note, 45th in the country. So they're playing really good teams. I don't know what to expect from them really on the road. We've only seen them once on the road this year. That was against Gonzaga. They lost that game by 8. As a Gonzaga fan, they definitely could have won that game. I think that if that game was on a neutral or at home, I think it would have been maybe a little bit of a different story, because Gonzaga's having a really hard time closing out games, as we saw last night. That was a freaking disgrace. But at the same time, Arizona State has played other good teams like New Mexico and St. Mary's. And again, you can poke holes in St. Mary's and St. Thomas and Grand Canyon. It doesn't really look good. But the win against Santa Clara early in the season looks really, really good. I don't really like playing Arizona. I don't know what to expect from them on the road. And my reason for that is they're not a very good rebounding team, especially on the offensive side. And BYU is one of the biggest teams in the country, and they kind of hang their hat on rebounding. They're one of the best rebounding teams in the country, offensively and defensively. And the BYU offense is starting to come around as well. I think that Kevin Young has kind of figured out his rotations. I don't understand why they can't shoot free throws, because they're like one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country. And the other thing that I really like about BYU is they're very deep. They're one of the teams that plays like 8 or 9 guys. They're top 10 in the country in bench minutes as well. So it's not like they're going to get tired. Arizona State, one of those teams that, again, doesn't have anybody on the bench. They're 304 in bench minutes. So it's really hard to think that Arizona's going to have the gas to keep up with BYU, because BYU does like to run a little bit. Not that Arizona State likes to play games at a crawl, but you're going to be asking Arizona State to go on the road and rely on the 3-ball, which is something, and rely on the 3-ball and rebound, which is something that I don't know if they can do on the road. Arizona State's been very, very good shooting the 3-ball this year, almost 40% as a team. And BYU has struggled against the 3-ball, but at the same time, I don't know if you can really count on that with, again, BYU is so big. I mean, across the board, 6'6", 6'9", 6'9", 6'4", 6'5", 6'5", 6'8". I just think that it's going to be a really, really hard day at the office for Arizona State here. So it's BYU or pass for me. Do I really want to lay 10 points with this BYU team that I against an Arizona State team that's been kind of feisty throughout the year? Not really. But again, it's just really hard for me to get to Arizona State, because I know that they're going to have to rely on their threes. And if they're even somewhat cold today, they're not going to be able to win the rebounding battle, and that could spell disaster. So it's definitely BYU or plus for me, or pass for me.
All right. Last college basketball game here. I know Andy's on St. John's here at -1.
Yeah, that's wrong. Creighton for me. Sorry, Andy. Really?
I have no idea anything about the game. I just saw his ticket. He has St. John's.
Yeah, so I like Creighton here. I was waiting this morning to see what the number was going to be before I bet it. I guess Andy. Interesting. I don't like what St. John's is going to have to do, because again, the one thing that Creighton does well is play defense, and play defense inside. They're going to funnel teams inside, and that's what St. John's wants to do. But that's you're playing into the strength of this Creighton team. That's what bothers me about this game. St. John's likes to get out and run and get easy buckets, and maybe they get some here against this Creighton team. And I understand that Creighton doesn't have Pop Isaacs, but Creighton is a huge basketball team that's actually going to be able to match up with St. John's here. Creighton's also one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country. So I just feel like Creighton at home, you're going to get an all-out effort for them. You're getting a St. John's team that has played one game on the road against Providence, and I'm almost positive that Providence, let me check. Yeah, Providence didn't even have Bryce Hopkins. So it's not even like the good Providence team that St. John's went on the road and won. And keep in mind, they won that game. St. John's won that game by 2 on a tip-in. I think I was on Providence that night. I think it was like 6.5. I feel like this is a very similar game. Not only is Creighton better than Providence, I think they have one of the better players in the country in Ryan Kalkbrenner, especially on the defensive end. So unless St. John's figures out a way to get out and run, like if Creighton maybe a little bit cold tonight, they get out and run and get some easy buckets. But as far as I think what St. John's wants to do plays into the hand of Creighton. Creighton's bad. I don't want to make a case that I think that Creighton's some good basketball team, but their experience, they can play with depth. They're really big, and they can hit their free throws, and St. John's can't hit their free throws. So let's just, this game's what, 1.5, 2 right now. Let's just pretend that this game is close like the books think it's going to be. You have one of the best free throw shooting teams at home in the country in Creighton at shooting almost 70% or 77% from the line in Creighton. And then you have St. John's, one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country, on the road shooting 67% from the line. So I just think that Creighton matches up very well with them here today. I will be on Creighton. I will be betting Creighton on the money line at plus 100 or whatever it is right now. Like I said, I was just waiting for this morning to see what the line was going to be. But I think this is one of those situations where Creighton is going to be all out in this game. This is kind of like, I don't want to say that their season is on life support, but it's pretty damn close. And not that I really expect anything from them, but I really like Creighton in this spot here today. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe finally Andy gets me one of these times, but I don't see the St. John's angle. I think that everything that St. John's does positive plays right into the hand of what Creighton does even better. So it's definitely Creighton for me.
All right. There's some, we're doing NBA in 11 minutes. There's some questions for games in the comments if you want to answer them. Yeah. Someone asked about Notre Dame. Wait. That's against Georgia he's talking about. Someone asked about Boise State, Wyoming. Someone else asked about a different game. I can't find it. Well, Wake Forest, Syracuse too.
I haven't looked at Wake Forest. I have looked at the Boise State, Wyoming game. I don't really know. Let me see what the line is now for that Boise State game, because I'm at a point where I don't really know what to expect from this Boise State team. They just their last couple games just haven't really been super impressive, and that game against San Diego State or San Jose State kind of threw me for a loop because they didn't really look particularly well in that game, and what San Jose State does very well is they slow the game down and play through their defense, and that's exactly what Wyoming does too. San Jose State's like 330 in possession length. Wyoming is, what number? 343 in possession length. They shoot the three ball just like San Jose State does. So this is like the same type of matchup for Boise State, or as they had their last game against San Jose State. So I lean Wyoming for sure at that number. You also have Boise State playing their their second game in 3 days. Both of those games being on the road. One of them in San Jose State, and the next one in Wyoming. So I really hate the spot for them. So it would be Wyoming or pass for me. It's one of those games that doesn't start for a little bit longer. So I'm probably going to make a small bet on Wyoming, to be dead honest with you guys. So it's funny that you guys brought that game up. But Wyoming went through a really bad stretch against away games with Texas Tech and Utah State and BYU and South Dakota and Loyola Marymount. But they've looked really good at home, and they actually had a decent game on the road against Cal State Fullerton. Boise State's by far their best game left on the schedule. So you got to assume that they're probably ready for this one, especially being at home. Like, this is kind of like the ultimate spot to take Wyoming plus the points to try to keep this game close. And like I said, Boise State just played a game like this against San Jose State, and they didn't look good. So maybe they figure out a way to get through that playing slow, but I don't really see it. I think this game is another game that's going to be slow, and points are going to be at a premium, and I would take the points with the home team for sure.
I also I also see a Providence plus 6.5 at home here against Marquette.
Yeah, definitely lean that way as well. I haven't bet it yet. I haven't looked at the status of Bryce Hopkins because he's usually one of those guys that, obviously he's like one of their best players. I don't think he's going to play, but I have no idea. It's always a coin flip with him. But Providence has played a pretty damn decent schedule so far. And not that Marquette has played a bad one. I'm not trying to make that case. Marquette's actually played probably a stronger schedule than them. But you're asking Marquette to go on the road, a thing that they haven't done very well this year. They had a decent game against Maryland on the road. They won that game by 4. But then Iowa State, and Dayton, they didn't really look good on the road. And now here they are in their first conference game in the dunk. And Providence is one of those teams that, we all know that it's like almost the exact opposite of Marquette. Marquette's going to want to get up and get down on the floor and get easy buckets. Providence is going to want to slow the game down to an absolute crawl and play through their defense because that's just what they do. My issue is that I think that Marquette has enough horses to get up and go and get points on this Providence team. And if this game is close, what kills me is that Providence can't shoot free throws. So I really want to bet Providence. I haven't bet them yet. I would really like if Bryce Hopkins is there because I think that he's going to help with the turnovers. Not that he's handling the ball a ton, but I think that being able to get the ball to him is going to take away some of those turnovers. And that's one issue that Providence has had this year is they turn the ball over a lot. And when you play a Marquette team and a Shaka Smart team, you know that that's what they do. They're a top 10 team in forcing turnovers this year. So I lean Providence just because they're at home in the dunk, and I think they're going to slow this game down. And if they slow this game down, I think that forcing Marquette to score in the half court could be give them a little bit of an issue. But like I said, I haven't bet it yet, but now it's going down to 6 in some places. So I wouldn't be surprised if I end up making a small bet on Providence plus 6.5 before it gets to 6. So I do think that they match up pretty well against Providence. I just want to see that. I don't have the status of Hopkins in front of me right now, so I want to see that. But either way, even if he's not playing, they've played a lot without him, so they should be all right. So, yeah, it's definitely Providence or pass for me.
Looking at your ticket, I see you got a pretty sizable bet on St. Bonnie's plus 2.5.
I do. Let me pull that game up really quick. One of those situations with the Bonnies where it just doesn't really make sense to me. Both of these teams have played both these teams haven't played very good schedules yet. VCU has not looked like the same basketball team when they play on the road or true on the road games or true neutrals like they do at home. The one true game they did play was lost to New Mexico. VCU has 2 wins on a neutral floor, one of them being Colorado State, where Colorado State just melted away in the last 10 minutes of that game. The other was against a very bad Miami team that just lost their coach as well. The Bonnies have played a very good Utah State team, very close. They had a one bad 10-minute stretch, but besides that, they didn't look bad in that game. Bonnies also beat Providence on a neutral as well. There was no Hopkins for Providence, but still, I still feel like that's a solid win. I know I talk about this a lot, but this is another game where I feel like the Bonnies are going to slow this game down and make VCU run the half-court set, which I don't think is going to be good for them because they really like to get out and get easy transition buckets. I don't know if they can do that in the biggest game. This is going to be the biggest game left on St. Bonaventure's schedule, besides the fact when they have to go see VCU on the road. But as far as right now, this is the biggest game left on St. Bonaventure's schedule, and they're getting it at home. They've been playing extremely well. Like I said, the only loss that the St. Bonaventure's has this year is against Utah State. And really, I just feel like you're getting a St. Bonaventure's team that can really handle inside, and they can match up size-wise with VCU. And VCU can't shoot 3 balls, and they can't shoot free throws. And St. Bonaventure is a pretty damn good free throw shooting team. They're shooting at close to 73% as a team. That's significantly better than VCU. So I just think that the Bonnies, like I said, are going to control the pace in this game. I think they're the better defensive team, or just as good as a defensive team as VCU, and they're at home catching points. I just think it's a very, very good spot for St. Bonaventure. You can probably play VCU against Bonaventure when they play them at home, but I'm just not in a position where I trust this VCU team on the road or on a neutral right now, and I think that this is a great spot for St. Bonaventure today.
All right. Well, it's about time for NBA. Prop Beaver's got a couple NBA bets today. What?
I tailed one, too. It's a heater.
Yeah, he loves that under. I might have to tail it, too, because he spoke so passionately about it.
I feel good. I feel quite good about it.
he feels quite good.
Virginia.
I feel good.
Feel quite good about it.
Virginia up 3 with 15 seconds to go. Come on, boys. Take it home for daddy.
Oh, Lord.
They have the ball, too.
I know. I'm trying to pay attention. I'm trying to be a professional. Pay attention to the show.
People would like people like the watch along content. Problem is to do that when the games are on and I'm watching football or when I'm watching sports, I'm usually prepping the next video at the same time.
I couldn't do that. I would have no time to do anything else.
Right. Like that's when I'm watching the sports, that's when I'm prepping the next batch of content. I'm watching while I do. So there's very rarely am I just sitting there watching sports. So it would be tough for me to do. But I do. The content is fun, though, so I understand.
I'd like to do it. It just have to be a time where, like, the next day we don't have much, because that's the whole point of having the 4 TV setup is you can watch everything, do your work, and it's all kind of flows together. If I had to stop and not be able to look at other games and actually, like, that would be a lot. That'd put me, like, 3 hours behind.
Yeah, I mean, during football season, there's just no way. What am I going to do? It college football Saturday. I got an hour and a half NFL video to get out. I got a 2-hour live show the next morning. Like, I'm busy. It'd be tough. But all right, Chris should be here any minute. Toast. I'll talk to you in the Discord. I think I might tail that St. Bonnie's bet. It seems like Helms is on the other side though. He says, he said VCU gets Furman back today.
I don't give a shit what he said. He also said in the Discord. Let me quote it. Quote: "I played Bonnie's anyway."
Oh, so. You didn't. He failed to mention that in the comments. Yeah. Chris Brady looks like he had a good day. I having trouble following all the emojis, but he looks like he had a good day.
There's a waiting sign, so maybe Blues.
Oh, the waiting
sign. It's yet to puck off or whatever.
The waiting sign. He's waiting.
There's also a shamrock emoji. I don't know what that means.
That means like good luck.
It needs extra luck.
I like it.
All right. Should I get out of here or what?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
No, just get the fuck out of here. Okay?
Me and Proppy Vernell hold you here.
This spot, but I also didn't want to leave you solo.
It's okay. No,
are you thinking me and Proppy were holding you here at gunpoint or something, bro?
No,
go enjoy your day.
Not at all. I feel great. I feel great. Especially with Virginia coming back. I mean, I can't lose right now.
I know, dude. I was looking at the last couple of weeks for you. Like, holy shit, you're up like 20 units or something. Like, it's a heater.
That's definitely a heater. Jake Bates coming through last night. Both my kickers.
Wow.
I love these guys. I just love these guys.
All right, let's switch it over to the NBA. Chris will be here any minute.
Have a good night, guys.
See ya. You in the Discord yesterday were you were preaching the words of a possible Raptors money line straight up in this joint. Is that true?
Yeah, but it wasn't. Okay. All right, let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk.
Those of you that have been around watching the channel or in the group since last season know that we like to play the dogs in the afternoon games. And I know it's usually they're on the weekends. This isn't technically a weekend, but I guess it's a holiday to some people. The dogs tend to hit in those afternoon games. I don't even know if that's backed up by data. All I know is we were playing a lot of dogs in the afternoon games, those Sunday afternoons. Like we hit several like Pistons money lines, Hornets money lines on Sunday afternoon. So it's an afternoon game. Talk about 16.5 points. This would be a spot where we would take a shot with the dog. You know, I mean, how motivated are the Celtics to come out on New Year's Eve in the afternoon against the Raptors? And there's probably a lot of factors that go into it. Like I said, I don't even know if it's backed by data. It was just something we were doing and had some success with last year. I took the plus 17 is what I did. It's not really something. I mean, I can point at a few things I like here for the Raptors, but by no means are you going to find any data that indicates Toronto should compete with Boston. I mean, there are a couple angles here. Toronto's played the much stronger schedule, for one. In the last 10 games, Toronto's third in strength of schedule. Boston's 18th. On the full season, Toronto's 4th. Boston's 20th. So, I mean, Toronto has played an extremely strong schedule. They may not be quite as bad as you think, quite as bad as we've seen so far this year. again, we're talking about the Raptors against the Celtics in Boston. There's not going to be a ton to go off of. The Boston defense puts a lot of pressure on the perimeter, forces opponents inside to take shots on the inside. Toronto's down with that. They actually lead the NBA in shot frequency at the rim. This is an offense that wants to get to the basket. The problem is they're not any good at it. So, like, I don't know if that's really an angle. Defensively, Toronto's defense is pretty bad, but they're not terrible against the three-point shot. They're about average, so there's something. Boston hasn't been covering these big numbers. It hasn't been profitable at all to bet the Celtics. If you've been betting the Celtics this year, you are down. They have not been a profitable team to bet. So yeah, I took a flyer on Toronto plus 17. Some people in the Discord were taking it, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm in. It wasn't something I necessarily liked, but it's New Year's Eve. We got football on and all that, and I was down to gamble with the fellas. So there was a few people on the Discord on it. I jumped into. I got it at plus 17. Chris,
what up, Kyle? Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late.
No worries.
I'm not gonna disagree with you on the full game, Kyle, but I played Boston first half here. Minus 10. I actually just locked this in. I haven't even sent it out. Minus 10 is the first half number.
Boston minus okay.
Yeah, Boston first half minus the 10. I also like a couple player props as well, but I'll keep this concise to just the side. So you talked about it, Kyle. This team has not been good recently covering these big numbers. I did see just now that Drew Holiday got rolled in. Porzingis is out. That's gonna help the defense a ton here.
Huge. I wanted Porzingis out. That's the one I wanted.
Yeah, he's out. I think he's out in RJ. I'm sorry, RJ. So RJ is out too, but
I knew
Drew
that
Holiday is in and Porzingis is out. So that was enough for me. Like I really wanted to get there with. I think Toronto team total goes under. That's another way I'm looking to play it. But let's talk about Boston first half specifically first. So this is the best, like over the last couple of years, has been a really good first half team. They haven't been as profitable recently. Only 8-10 against the number in the first half this season. They're laying 10 in this spot. Super big number, especially with a line at 16.5 for the full game. So the books are expecting them to dominate. I am too. You got a Boston team that's lost. This lost to the Indiana Pacers the other day. They've actually looked really, really bad. I was going through listening to like when they're going to turn on that, like kind of flip the switch, and I think it's going to be here based on some quotes that came out from Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games, Kyle. 3 of their last 4 games have the Celtics. And also, you mentioned them. Yeah, exactly. Like not covering the spread, like you said, because they're 3-10 against the number. But I was looking into this morning. The Lakers have been very profitable. I mean, not the Lakers. I'm all over the place. The Celtics have been profitable coming off a loss. And I kind of think they're going to take their frustration out against the Toronto Raptors. They're 7-1 straight up, 6-2 against the spread, winning by an average of 18 points per game coming off a loss this season. We just saw them coming off a loss, and they beat the Pacers 142-105. So it's not like it's not there. They just haven't been tapped into that potential. I think Toronto, looking at them defensively, like they've been absolutely terrible recently. They gave up, 136 to Atlanta on the second leg of a back-to-back, 155 to Memphis on Thursday, 139 to the Knicks. They've been terrible guarding the three-point line. All the Celtics want to do is shoot threes. So I like Boston first half here, minus the 10. I did play, official play for me. And team total under 107.5. With Drew Holiday back, I think that's going to help out a ton. Raptors been playing pretty slow. Celtics don't turn teams over, Kyle. Raptors just turn the ball over religiously. 31 turnovers in their last game on Sunday. So I like both of them. I like both of them a lot. Toronto, I don't think they get to maybe 105 points in this game. I played that, and I played Boston first half minus the 10.
We have to maybe come to the conclusion that Boston isn't that good right now.
They can be good. They can turn it on and off. I think they turn it on after losing to the Pacers.
We'll see.
Haven't been backing them in these big spots.
I mean, I'm not going to say I love the bet or anything. Let's go to the next one. Milwaukee, Indiana. And I don't really I think this line's off by a couple points. I mean, I would probably put this one at Indiana minus 1.5 too, rather than plus 1.5 too. I mean, I know you look at the full season, the records are close. Milwaukee's been slightly better. But this game's in Indiana, where the Pacers are, I believe, 8-5, and the Bucks are below 500 on the road. Not to mention, if you isolate it to just recent production, the Pacers have been the better team. Remember, they were on an absolute smoker. Right? They won and covered 5 games in a row. Then they lost to the best team in the NBA, or one of the best teams in the NBA, in Oklahoma City. Alabama just made a stop. Why do you take that sack? Wow, Davis Warren, that's bad. Just gave away like 15 yards for no reason. But yeah, so put up Pacers for me. I'm down to bet this right now. Chris, are you on the Pacers?
I wasn't, but I'm with you though, Kyle. I think so. I was kind of waiting for the Giannis news. It looked like he is going to play. They had like a little injury bug, not injury, some kind of like illness bug going around the team. So AJ Green is back, but we talked about this the other day while we wasn't taking them plus the points last Friday, Calvin. They were playing against the Pacers in that first game, and it was because they didn't have Nembhard. Nembhard is back, man. He has been a difference maker. I know that the Bucks are. I think that they're going to be motivated because they hate the Pacers. The Pacers hate them back, but they've lost two straight games to Brooklyn and Chicago. So I do think you get a motivated team. But Giannis first came back, probably going to be a little winded. Him and Dame have not like really played together, I don't think, since the Cup game when they won. So you got second game back for Dame, first game back for Giannis after missing the last two. Pacers never gonna roll over at the crib, Cal. Plus 2.5 is available right now.
I just took it.
Books.
I just took plus.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll take it too, and hopefully cross our fingers that we can get this one right because I know we are about 0-4 on plays that we both like.
When we on plays where we both decide we're gonna take it on the show.
Bad
hit rate. Bad hit rate.
Yeah.
How about
I'm with you, though, Cal.
How about those Pellies last night, bro?
Oh man, you didn't bet them, did you?
No.
Oh, I did go the opposite way and lost, and I was heated.
I wanted
they even went down by 14, Cal. How you go down by 14 points to the? Oh man, I was heated because Cavs was my only bet yesterday, and then I added them and ended up with a losing night.
I ended up betting the Warriors last minute before tip. I don't even freaking know how that happened.
We talk about stop fading those Cavs, Cal. You tell the world, and then you do it yourself.
I know. I said Cleveland minus 4.5 on the show, but I got conned into it in the Discord. Like people are like Warriors. It was AC locks. Next up. Oh, Prop Beaver wanted to come on for this one. Prop Beaver has a lock in this one.
Word.
Yeah. He says, I feel very good.
And I do feel very good. To say the
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear. I ain't been on a show with Prop Beaver that he's not been producing.
Just now getting back into NBA.
Back.
I love it. I love it.
1 second. Let me just get my ass on the screen. 1 second.
Hey, take your time, Prop Beaver. Okay. This is your show, man. Do what you want to do.
Wow, I look like a pale. What the fuck is this? All right, if you guys want to go real quick, I'll make myself not look like Nosferatu. 1 second.
Oh, yeah. Well, I almost grabbed the Spurs at -3 last night, obviously wishing I did now because it's -4.5. But, I mean, we were talking about this earlier. 4.5. Talk about laying 2 possessions with the Spurs team I don't think is very good. I don't know if I could do it at 4.5. It's not a great spot for the Clippers. They just played a game that came down to the wire last night. Not that the trip from New Orleans to San Antonio, right? That's not that that's a tough, grueling travel or anything, but they're on a back-to-back with the travel. Spurs are rested. You would think this is a Spurs spot all the way. I don't know if I can get there with -4.5 though, but it would be Spurs or nothing for me here. But yeah.
So we didn't agree at first, and then we did agree, and now we're agreeing again, Kyle. Because I'm with you. I like 4.5 is a bit too much. The Clippers are not a bad team. Just because they're on the second leg of a back-to-back, they had 2 days of rest before that game. What I will say is, trim-wise, the Clippers are only 2-4 against the number this season when they're playing unrested. The Spurs are actually a league best 7-1 against the spread when they have the rest advantage. So they have taken advantage of teams. But to your point, Kyle, like I watched this team. They've covered I think 5 straight games have the San Antonio Spurs. First game back home off of I think it was a 3-game road trip. But they don't win by margin in my estimation and analysis is because they're still trying to figure out how to close games. So when you're like you talk about the 4.5, like that to me means not to me, but that is 2 possessions. I think the Clippers can keep it within a possession or 2. I do think that San Antonio is the right team if I had to play money line, but I'm not interested in the number. I think the Clippers are much better than they played yesterday. It wouldn't surprise me if they came out with something here and even potentially won the game. They have owned the Spurs. They've won 8 of the last 10 matchups, I think is what I had in my notes from yesterday. So they played really well against San Antonio. They beat them earlier too, 113-104 as home favorites and then to a dome. So I just don't like the Spurs being able to close, Cal. I think when you have to close, you got to win by 2 possessions. I'm not interested in that quite yet with this Spurs team.
All right, so I think I misheard somebody. Are you guys on the same side or you're on the opposite
No, I
side?
said Spurs or Pat. I'm not arguing with them on this one. There's no way I'm betting this game. I was considering Spurs at 3 last night.
All right.
Probably you put up plus 4.5. I'm not on either side either. I'm with Cal. Like I can't lay the 4.5.
Oh,
So
okay,
Prop Beaver has the only bet here, and he loves it.
Yes, I do. I do like it.
Is it
quite a
Victor
bit.
Wembanyama 3-point ladder?
No, I'm actually not doing a prop in this game. I like the under in this game a lot. I know that you've probably mentioned in the past before that Terrence Mann not being on the court may definitely hurt the chances of an under a bit. I know that he's a premier defender. The dude's awesome. But I do like the under in this game still, even with him off the court here. Let me just go ahead and get my notes up before we get into that. Got the under on the screen. All right. And now we got the notes going. All right. First of all, we got two teams, bottom 11 in pace on the season, top 7 defensive rating over their last 5 games. So they're hot in that department. And bottom half in the league in offensive rating on the season. So already surface level numbers, they're working for us with the under, with the way things are headed. Now let's dive deeper into the matchup here, because I think it's actually working really well in terms of a Spurs bet if you wanted to lay it. And I guess a Clippers team total under, but I just like the total under instead. Clippers offense thrives in isolation, top 3 in frequency, efficiency, and points per game. Well, guess what? Spurs defense, top 10 defensively in all 3 of those categories. This Clippers offense, where do they love to attack? The interior, 11th in rim frequency, 6th in paint frequency over their last 10 games. That's where the Spurs defense is excellent at defending. Last 10 games, they're 1st in rim efficiency, 9th in paint efficiency, and the Clippers' only other strength from an efficiency standpoint is above the break. That has also been a great spot for the Spurs defensively, 9th during that same span. So really don't like the matchup for the Clippers offensive here. And then on the other side, we got a Spurs offense that loves to shoot the above the break 3, but just isn't efficient at doing so. They're bottom 10 in efficiency, that last 10 game sample size. Meanwhile, we got this Clippers defense. They allow opponents to shoot the above the break 3 at a high rate, but they're top 10 in efficiency during that same span. So I think they could trap the Spurs into shooting some ugly threes here, wasting the already limited possessions they have. You already mentioned the travel spot. They had 4 road games. Now this is their first game back home from that 4-game road trip. It's New Year's Eve. Got a lot of young guys on the team. I mean, they may be worrying about their party tonight, not about the game tonight. On top of that, these teams 9-4 to the under in their last 13 matchups, 8-3 to the under in the last 11, specifically at San Antonio. Also, just a trend in this season, unders 6-1 in the Clippers' last 7 road games, 9-3 when the Clippers are road dogs this season. So really like the under in this one.
That was pretty fucking.
Yeah, that was good. I gotta get my write-up game. I gotta get my write-up game back. They're probably going to be on the show a little bit more.
Thank you.
Right? You gotta come. All right, I'll tail this shit.
I like it. I like it.
I kind of liked his case for the Clippers team total under a bit more than the.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna ask Cal about that when you right before you said you had a play probably, because as you mentioned, and I was pulling this up too, the Clippers are only efficient, like you said, and Cal probably saw this as well, from in the paint. They're 4th in rim frequency last 5 games, and everything else is red. Like they are not shooting efficiently anywhere else. But Victor Wembanyama down there, I think he's gonna alter a lot of those shots. A lot of teams are not scoring in the paint against them, forcing teams to shoot the 3, and they've been pretty good in that shot zone as well. And the Clippers playing pretty fast. I'm seeing 1st in transition frequency last 5 games, but not efficiently, bottom 5. And the Spurs are actually top 5 in transition defense last 5 games, giving up the 4th fewest points per 100 possessions. So I like the team total under too. Now that you talk about it like that, I like that. 107.5 right now. I see as
for the Clips. Yeah,
I just took the full under 217.
Okay. All right, let's ride with that, and then on to the next.
Shout
one.
out to Prop Beaver.
Thank you,
there
sir.
You go. Welcome back to the NBA. He's actually got another bet later too.
Yeah, I do, but I'll let you guys go first. I want to ramble on too much here.
All right. 1 second. Let me just share it in the Discord.
It's actually in this game.
All right. I'm on the under. All right. What's next?
T-Wolves.
Oh yeah, this is the one. I thought about taking Minnesota plus 7.5, but to be honest, I can't. Every time I think I could start trusting Minnesota, they prove to me that we shouldn't trust them. I will say, you look at the last 10 games, right? And we're talking about Timberwolves, 23rd offensively, 8th defensively in the last 10 games. Oklahoma City, 8th and 1st. So last 10 games, Oklahoma City's been a much better basketball team, much more efficient basketball team. Strength of schedule, Minnesota 7th, Oklahoma City is 26th. So Oklahoma City's played the much easier schedule recently. Meanwhile, Minnesota's been playing some tough teams and still putting up top 10 defensive numbers. I can't do it, dude. I can't do it. I want to bet Minnesota, but I can't do it. So this is a straight pass for me.
I hadn't thought about the strength of schedule and it being that different, Cal. But I didn't play this. It's on my short list. Based on what you said, don't make me like it as much, but I still think that it's a solid play. And that's a look towards the Clippers. Not the Clippers, the Timberwolves, specifically towards their team total under. Because you mentioned their offense being a little bit better recently. I mean, this Oklahoma City Thunder defense is,
real.
Yeah, it's like really real. And I don't think that they're going to overlook this Timberwolves team coming in. The Timberwolves have been better as dogs, better than favorites. So to your point, I didn't really want to lay the points with the Oklahoma City Thunder, even though they just keep covering. I don't know what else I need to see to not take them. What are they? They are 7-2-1 against the number of their last 10 games. Won every single game outside. They've won every game since they lost the cup game. Second leg of back-to-backs doesn't matter. Third game in 4 nights doesn't matter. I just kind of feel like they can limit what Minnesota wants to do. Minnesota's offense, to me, feels like it's not that great. I would bet on their team total to go under. I think the number is 105.5. OKC defensively are allowing 104 points per game. It gets better at home. Last 5 games, they're allowing 102.6. Timberwolves don't play fast. We know that they shoot a bunch of threes, and OKC does a really good job. They're a top 10 defensive rated team from the three-point line as well. Not expecting this game to be played with pace, so that's the way I would play it. Minnesota team total under 105.5. I may even lock this in, but I haven't yet.
Minnesota's offensive success has come from the three-point line. And last 10 games, Oklahoma City first in defensive efficiency above the break, first on the full season as well. So, yeah, I mean, Oklahoma City defensively should match up pretty well here. I don't hate that.
I'm just shocked that you said the Thunder defense is still so hot, because I noticed that Alex Caruso, he's out for this game. And the fact that they're still so hot defensively is so impressive to me, because that's the main reason why I'm on the play that I'm on here. SGA, we're doing a step stool. We don't do ladders. Ladders, they always break for me, so we're doing the step stool. SGA over 5.5 assists, 6.5 assists as well. So I feel like a common misconception sometimes with elite defenses is that they don't allow assists. Orlando Magic defense, for example, last year, elite defense, but at points in the season, you can find these defenses allowing a high rate of assists, and that's exactly what we're finding with this Minnesota T-Wolves defense. Over the last 7 games, according to Fantasy Pros, they've actually allowed the most assists per game to the point guard position. We've seen CP3 with 14-9, Fred VanVleet 7, Curry 10-8, McBride with 8, cashing the lines with relative ease over the last 3 weeks. And now we got no Caruso in this ball game, and that has massive implications for SGA, because with Caruso, SGA is under his last 7 to 9 games. He's averaging just 4.3 assists per game. But without Caruso, he's over his last 7 to 9 games, averaging 7.3 assists per game. And he already has some excellent history against his T-Wolves team with the way they play him defensively, especially at home. He's over his last 7-11 overall against the T-Wolves, averaging 6, but at home specifically, 4-1 to the number, averaging 7. And what they particularly do well, and what I've watched in the past, is they like to limit his volume, really turn him into a facilitator. He's failed to reach 24-plus field goal attempts against them once in his career. And if you know SGA, that man just chucks. With 23 or less field goal attempts, SGA over his last 13 to 20 games overall, averaging 6.6, and his last 9 to 10 going back to last season without Caruso, averaging 7.5, hitting 7+ in 5 straight such occasions at home, averaging 8. So I went with the 5.5, but I also took the 6.5 because we're getting a great price at plus 150. Put a full unit on 5.5 at minus 120. Believe you get that at FanDuel. And then I put a half unit on the plus 150. Should be able to get that at 365 FanDuel and multiple other books as well. So those are my 2 props for today. And then these 2 guys will take over from here. God bless.
All right, let's go on to the Cavs-Lakers game. Come on. This has got to be a
Did
spot.
you do it, Cal?
No.
Did you do it?
No, but I want to. Laying 5 on the road, back-to-back. You can't fade the Cavs when they're winning, man. They got the rest advantage. Lakers are 10-4 at home. Tell me this isn't a Lakers spot. Don't put the Cavs. I'm not betting the Cavs. I want to bet the Lakers, but go ahead, Chris. Go bet the Cavs.
No. I'm not betting the Cavs. I'm not betting the Cavs, Kyle. I'm not on the Cavs today. I've been the Cavs have made me some money recently, and I stayed off of them in this game. I saw this open at 3. I think it's a tad bit disrespectful that it's up to 5.5 now on the second leg of a back-to-back. They weren't even laying 5.5 to the Warriors yesterday, and the Lakers are better than the Warriors. We got to stop it, bro. Like the market is, me and the market, we about to have problems because you can't be laying 5.5 after you've traveled, and you weren't even laying through. I told you yesterday, Cal. I said, Cal, I haven't been betting early, but I bet the Cleveland Cavaliers against the Warriors at 3.5, at 4, because I thought it would move to 4.5, 5. Here I am, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time last night. The line's back down to 3.5. I don't even get CLV on my bet. I get reverse CLV, all for them just to win by 25 points last night. So, I mean, they only lay at 5.5? Like, is this because Bron and AD, I know they listed as questionable, is because they're not playing? Like,
I think they're always listed as questionable.
I know. I don't know, man. I don't want to fade the Lakers in this spot. I think the rest advantage comes to play. They got revenge as well. They've been a team that's played Cleveland really, really well. If we're getting into analysis, they won both games last season against these teams. The roster turnover is about the same for both teams. I don't know what Kenny Atkinson has unlocked with them, but they shoot a ton of threes. They play really fast. Like, this is the Golden State Warriors with better personnel, in my opinion. So I don't really want to fade them. The Lakers' transition defense can be a little bad. Recently, they've been playing a lot better than Lakers defensively, and I do think that we're shifting towards a Lakers defensive team, getting rid of D'Angelo Russell, bringing in, Dorian Finney-Smith. I think Jared Vanderbilt's supposed to be back. So the Lakers' offense is going to take a step back. They aren't playing as fast recently. I think all that would lead me towards an under, but how could you go under on a Cavaliers game either? Like, so I'm not playing it though, Kyle. I'm not on Cleveland today. Not against my Lakers, man. I think it's getting a little bit disrespectful. I said this on the show yesterday, and real quick, if I go back to my notes from yesterday, I said that the Cavs in their last 9 wins, so now in their last 10 wins, each one has been by double digits. So if you like Cleveland, cool. But I think the Lakers could keep this one within the 6 points here. I'm not betting it though.
Yeah, I mean, this is a spot you bet the Lakers, but is that the real ski in the comments? He said, Kyle, you want a winner for the Lakers game? Of course we do. Share. Yeah, someone said travel. What is it, like a 30-minute flight? It's not about the travel itself. It's about they played a basketball game last night, then got on a plane, and it's about the whole process of playing 2 games in a row in different locations, different hotel rooms, and rather than the Lakers team whose guys are at home and rested. It's not like with that stuff, it's not that, oh, this team's incapable of playing basketball after traveling the night before. Of course not. They're professionals. But if the game is played 1,000 times, more often than not, you're going to get a better effort out of the team that's rested. So it's not that like, oh, these guys are going to be so screwed off the travel. It's just you're looking at this over a huge sample size. Over 1,000 games, the team that didn't travel is going to perform slightly better than the team that did.
To your point, Kyle, this season, road favorites coming off a road win, unrested, 9-5 straight up, but only 5-9 against the spread. And if we go back, through the last 5 years, I'm pretty sure it'll be even more profitable for the home dog in this spot. So, yep. Good education piece for the people, Kyle.
Ski says he has Austin Reeves over 5.5 assists. Ski's just a prop guy now, apparently.
I know. It's so funny he mentioned that. Grady Dick just got rolled out. That's great for my under on the team total. But to Ski's point, I mentioned this on my show earlier, Kyle. I didn't look into the number because I don't really want to take it against Cleveland. Cleveland defense is pretty good. But with D'Angelo Russell being about it in now, like, I'm going to hit Ski up and we can talk about this. But I think that they are wanting him to be the primary ball handler, especially with just LeBron James. Like, we don't have any other ball handlers. He had a 16-assist game the other day against the Kings. 16 assists. So I do think that, potential double-doubles, if you're a guy that likes to, put a little money on, those plus 500 double-doubles. But over at 5.5 assists, I think is a pretty good number here. I agree with that.
I want to bet the Lakers, actually.
I do too, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to sit on the side.
5.5 is crazy.
5.5 is crazy. The Lakers what are they as a dog this season? They are, real quick, let me pull it up.
Well, they're 10-4 at home. How do you lay 5.5 points to a team that's 10-4 at home?
Yeah, let's see. They are as a dog, they're 8-7 too, so they're profitable in that realm. Non-conference games, they haven't played well. 3-6 against the number. I mean, I just can't bet against Cleveland right now, though. Cleveland is tough, Kyle. All of them are by double digits too. All right, so break the game down. Let's go through the game real quick, Al. Like, what are the advantages for the Lakers?
There like really aren't any. I was just looking.
Lakers 4-1 against the spread as home dogs this year.
Like if you're like on a basketball standpoint, I mean, there's not like any angles I really like here for the Lakers. They keep opponents from getting to the rim, but I mean the Cavs are happy to take jump shots. They've played I mean, Cleveland, as I keep saying, they have played one of the easiest schedules in the NBA this year. This Cleveland team is not this good. They're playing this well right now. Right now they are that good, but like this Cleveland team is not that good. All right, let's go to the next game. Memphis, Phoenix. In case you haven't seen the Grizzlies injury report, if you're wondering why the line is where it is, it's because name a Grizzlies player, they're out. Everyone's out, dude. No Marcus Smart, no John Moran, no Brandon Clark, no Santi Aldama, no Zach Edey, no Gigi Jackson, no Vince Williams, no Jake LaRavia. All out. So that's why the line is where it is. Good stop, Washington. Let's go. Do you have any bet in this shithole of a game? I still want to take Memphis, if I'm being honest.
Me too. Me too. That's why I don't have a bet, because I said on my show this morning that Devin Booker went through practice yesterday, and apparently he was at shoot around this morning. So I was hoping that the line gets bigger, and then I would consider. I don't know if I'm gonna bet it, but consider Memphis. Memphis is coming off they lost by 24 points the other day. So I think, there's a level of professionalism with the team. 24-point loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder the other day as an 8-point dog. Here's my thing, Kyle, not from a team perspective, but from a player perspective. It feels like Jared Jackson Jr.'s IQ at home is like 20 points higher than it is on the road. He just gets into these really bad fouls, and all it takes is for him to get in foul trouble in this game and potentially Phoenix. But I mean, Phoenix has not been great lately. So if you told me that Jared Jackson Jr. was going to finish the game with 3 fouls and he wasn't going to pick up 2 in the first half, I'd tell you I'd take the points after Devin Booker gets rolled in, because I think that Phoenix just offensively and defensively not putting it back together, and you would probably want to fade Devin Booker in his first game back. Also, there's no Royce O'Neal. And I think that Memphis still has enough pieces to keep the game within the number. Phoenix has not been profitable laying this big of a number at home this season. And with his first game back, Devin Booker's first game back, I'll be taking the points. But Jared Jackson Jr. really scares me, especially when I'm already down, like you said, 13 other pieces of this 16-piece team. It feels like everybody's out. So I like Memphis plus the points. I think they can keep it within the number, but I want Devin Booker to get rolled in, get a bigger number, and then I would jump in on Memphis.
All right. We both lean towards Memphis. I didn't bet it with all the injuries.
Same.
Someone said
but with all the injuries, Kyle, it's come down. This number was at 6.5. It's come down to 4.5. So people are still thinking that Suns just aren't it.
All right, a couple of questions. Someone said Cavs are that good, bro. Haven't you watched the games? Yes, I've watched the games, but are you new to the NBA? Like the teams the best team in early December is usually not the best team at the end of the year, and this isn't new. The Cavs have stretches where they look like the best team in the league. This happened last year around this time, and then at the end of the day, the Cavs were sitting at about the 4 seed in the East, which is how good I think they are. Teams get hot and cold, and I do not think the Cavs are the best team in the NBA. You really think that we're going to be sitting here in May, June, playoffs like, oh, the Cavs, best team in the NBA? No way. I mean, I don't think they're that good, because we've seen this team get red hot before, and then they always seem to level out. What are your thoughts on live betting Washington right now? They're down 7-0. Yeah, I still like Washington. The touchdown was a pick 6. Not that necessarily means anything, but it's not like Louisville drove down the field, a methodical drive. They scored on a pick 6. Louisville just got the ball and went 3 and out. I'm hoping this quarterback for Washington, I don't know a ton about him, this freshman. I've heard he's highly touted. I'm hoping he can start making some plays. Obviously, he threw a pick 6. So we'll see how it works out. But yeah, I'm on Washington. These bowl games are tough, though, so a bit responsibly. But yeah, I'm on Washington. Yeah, I guess that's it. We're good to go here. Let's do a community. Actually, we don't need to do the community parlay hit yesterday, though. We should probably do it.
Run it back.
Let's go.
The parlay we bet, yeah. Community parlay is for the community. We community, making a parlay. Yeah.
All right. Let's do a quick community parlay, and we'll call it NBA. I'll open it up. Celtics money line. There you go, Washington into Louisville territory. They like the Pacers with us there. Clippers.
Celtics money line. Celtics money line probably don't even move it.
Dude, we got to do it though. If they want to vote for it, that's on them. Clippers Suns. Did they like the Clippers? The Clippers Spurs. Did anyone remember? Did they like the Clippers or Spurs in that? I'll put both in the poll. How about that? All right, cast your votes on the community parlay. Chris, want to tell the people where they can find your stuff? They already probably know that, but
yeah, no, absolutely. Appreciate you having me on as always, Cal. Monday through Sunday, every day of the week, man. Live in the morning about 7:30 a.m.
Touchdown.
If not 7:30 a.m., 8:30 a.m. On my YouTube channel at Crispy Cap and 2 P's 2 N's. Go through a couple of the comments as well. Kind of talk the games out if I don't have a look. Appreciate you for having me on, Cal. Best of luck to everybody tonight.
Yeah, he does a morning show. You'll see a lot of the same people in the comments. They go through every single game, and he's on for a while too. They go into detail. So if you definitely check it out. Show him some support. Looks
that was something.
That touchdown, right?
No. What you just did, Chris. You want to tell the people where they can find your stuff? Oh,
they threw a 50
Hey, Cal has no impulse control.
They threw a 50-yard bomb.
Fucking absolute.
You clearly didn't see the play.
Bro.
Or else you would have reacted
the
similarly.
No.
Pacers money line is in there. All right.
Hey, Chris, I know where to find your stuff.
They all know where to find Chris's stuff. He's on every day.
No, they do. They do by now. Guys here every day.
Did you get 2.5, Cal, or did you take money line with the Pacers? I didn't bet that one yet. I'm about to.
Plus 2.5.
Plus 2.5. Okay.
Also, who's in this community parlay? I mean, oh, okay, there we go.
Pacers.
The live thing wasn't like showing on the screen for some reason.
We could put Penn State in there. What else we got here? Baylor, LSU. I don't even know who they would like in that one. We could put Penn State as an option tonight.
Okay, so Pacers, money line.
It's Thunder. Wow, not a lot of people voted for the Cavs there. Really? I thought you guys all loved Cleveland. Oh. All right, so the second place finishers were Celtics money line. We'll go Penn State money line in there. We'll go South Carolina money line is another popular bowl game, and then we'll put the Suns money line back in. All right, cast your votes. We'll go first and second place from this poll to finish it out. Alabama driving too. I got Alabama minus 7.5 that I took live there. Suppose it's still in play. All right, go ahead, cast your votes. Chris Brady says, can't wait to see how UW's new quarterback does next year. Is this the guy that this is their guy next year? I'm assuming this is the future right here, this freshman, right? Kyle, you also liked Michigan team total under 14.5. Yeah. I don't know if you're implying that I should have included in my handicap that Jalen Miller would turn the ball over in his own territory 3 times. I don't know how that one would have got in there. But yes, you're right. I did like that. I will say, though, and you have to admit, if Michigan finishes the game with 16 points, you would have to admit, okay, yeah, he was right because they didn't do dick. Big Dog Money says Clippers.
Got a heater, folks.
You got a heater?
Got a heater, folks.
What is the heater? It's going to be like
Pacers
minus 150.
money line, Thunder money line, Penn State money line, Celtics money line plus 216.
All right,
Celtics
so
money line added a whopping 17 cents of value.
So the community going for back-to-back hits. Pacers money line, Thunder money line, Penn State money line, Celtics money line plus 216. Thanks everyone for watching. See you all tomorrow in the morning. New Year's Day, we got 3 college football playoff games. So be on probably like 11 a.m. I'll post it. I think we're going to go 11 p.m. and do college football. And Chris, I'll let you know what time we'll do NBA in there if you're able to make it. So
yeah, no, I should. I'm be around doing nothing, chilling.
Cool.